We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin putting in its highest weekly close ever in history, and obviously that is significant. And we are going to talk about the levels, let's say the resistance and support levels that are here expected, what it means for the altcoins, and what's going to happen next, also based on global M2. So make sure to stay all the way through. So good morning to each and every one of you. I can see that for a Monday the chat is really going crazy. What is happening? Mewtwo here. Good morning, hodler gang, and bringing us the jokes in the chat. Also, we have Troy Paris in the house. Good to see you as well. Hello, chat. We have Sven, we have Bernard. Happy Monday, PH, and to all the other holders, hodlers. GM to each and every one of you. Divinder Singh, awesomeness redefined. Thank you very much. And with that, thank you especially to my rare hodlers here, Mewtwo, Troy, and whoever is lurking in the chat. So thank you very much for supporting this stream, and let's just get on with what is going on at the moment. So we have seen that highest weekly close ever, as you see here, but we are also getting rejected from that level. So we did one final try to break through that level at 106k, which is basically, you see it here, just under all-time highs, and we are getting rejected. But that's not a problem, I would say. You see it also here, like on the levels that are more accurate on the daily here. You see it here, right? Upper resistance, 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 and again resistance, slightly broken through, but nothing stable. We see that we get finally rejected again, and this could take a while, right? I mean, these resistances are hard, but also we see usually when we put in such a new high weekly close that the next week starts out red first, because everyone stacks long. Those longs need to get liquidated first, or out of the way before we can continue, right? Basically, traders getting wrecked that are especially the ones that are trading with leverage. Overall though, this is really, really good, right? Because we have our bounce here, as we discussed many weeks ago. We have the continuation, strong continuation on this bounce, and now we are just in the need to maybe correct a little and then go through here. We don't know yet, but I also highlighted from that big inverse head and shoulders pattern, if we were to come back here, I said it before, I drew it in, you would basically have another one of these, right? Maybe that's how big the shoulder is going to be, maybe not, right? But left shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverse head and shoulder patterns is basically a miniature of what you are seeing here. And here it's confirmed, right? Here it has closed perfectly and retested and continued. In the smaller version up there, it did not yet. So we will see how that develops. Fact is that, let's get this clutter here out of the way. Fact is though that we have our bull cross here on the stochastic RSI on the monthly, and that we are looking good on the monthly. Nonetheless, it would be also cool if we could close our monthly up there. We don't have to break it this month, but close our monthly at the 106,000 and beyond, because then we would also have the highest monthly close, but that is still 12 days ahead of us. Overall, starting this out with some news, I don't know if you have seen it, but we see basically for the first time in history, Moody's has downgraded the United States credit rating. I think this is a big one. Moody's cites concerns over soaring US debt levels, with interest on US debt set to hit 30% of revenue by 2035. So it isn't the first time that the US has seen a credit rating downgrade. In 2011, the S&P so Standard & Poor's in that case, downgraded the US credit rating from AAA to AA+. As seen below, the downgrade came with an 8% drop in the S&P 500 within 2 months. The 10-year yield fell as much as 35% within the first 2 months. So maybe they are helping to get that yield down, right? Here with this credit rating downgrade, but it's the first time that it's from Moody's. We had it from Standard & Poor's, we had it from Fitch. So the question is, will the Monday markets, especially in the US, go red by this, right? I mean, Germany is opening shortly, so Europe in general. We will see. But it could be that this happens, right? In 2023, Fitch downgraded the US long-term credit rating also from AAA to A+. They cited concerns over rising US debt levels, unaddressed fiscal challenges, and Fed rate hikes. This seemed to pave the path for the historic Moody downgrade that we just received. However, if we see this right, the reasons are the rising debt, the unaddressed fiscal challenges, and the Fed rate hikes. So the fiscal challenges are being addressed to the level that you can, and the Fed rate hikes are now rate cuts. So maybe, isn't that then the basis to revert the rating? Well, not necessarily if the US debt levels are the most important one. But let's go a little bit beyond that, because the real question is, where are we here in our, let's say, printed development, right? Because we are following very, very well, as of now, the global M2 versus or the global M2 chart, and here we have Bitcoin, right? So basically, the turnaround has been made. We are at all-time high, but we still have way to go, right? So until July, maybe until almost August, and we see already here, we now have some plateau, some sideways action going on in the M2. Excuse me, guys. So there will be more sideways, but we expect an explosive move all the way up to 120K or maybe even 130K within the next 1 or 2 weeks, right? We expect to break and go to new all-time highs, right? Which will then stop the ultimate, the last FUD that we had, that we are forming some kind of a triple top or so at this resistance once we're going into price discovery again. So the next explosive move should be ahead of us with a correction, sideways correction again, that lasts all June then, or something like that, or the rest of June, and then another explosive move up into July, mid-July, or something like that. Let's see how long we follow this, because I can tell you already, the more this is accurate, the more Bitcoin is following global M2, the more people will look at this, and then at some point it will not be effective anymore, right? So I think right now not enough people are looking at it, so it works. But let's say you see the moment that we come up here and we see a turnaround in the forecast, if too many people look at this, they will sell before it actually happens, invalidating the correlation at that point. Okay, I mean, there will be always a high correlation, but there will be a breaking point. If too many people look at the pattern, they react too fast to the pattern, and therefore they break the pattern, right? So that's always how it works. So let's say we see, oh, there's a top formation coming in, right? And it's breaking down. And we are here at 130K, then maybe everyone is already selling, knowing that this top formation is coming in anyways, taking their profits out already, and therefore not realizing that last top. That can happen, and therefore probably global M2 is also not, in the end, not the 100% guarantee to call the top, but still we will be seeing afterwards a correlation, and it was relatively clear, right? So keep that in mind. We see a big sideways move coming in here. Maybe this will be some kind of the summer gap, or the summer whatever, like down, and then very likely we see it blasting up again for September, October, and so on, that we really get our front running here for a massive blow off top. We will see if that actually happens, or if Bitcoin is already too big for that sort of top formation, right? But we see also that Bitcoin has outperformed gold, and there's a huge discussion for gold, whether you should buy gold or not, whether states should buy gold, right? We see here the $50 weekly DCA starting in 2018, and on the top you see the amounts invested, and then the gold value versus the Bitcoin value, and we see that Bitcoin came back to these valuations several times, but not really, right? I mean, this is today, or around today. They started out similar to each other, and then Bitcoin sharply underperforming gold in the bear market, in the first bear market that it had. But we see also that after a while, it's just no comparison anymore, right? So we see how Bitcoin goes nuts in bull markets against that valuation, and that is very interesting, and is also interesting to people like the Pantera Capital CEO. We listen quickly to 20 seconds here.
The U.S. has 11 million years of workers' wages buried in a stone pyramid in Kentucky in gold. That's obviously very antiquated. That's what the pharaohs did 40 centuries ago. I think that'll be transferred into crypto, Bitcoin, over the next few years.
Okay, so bottom line is that, but something is interesting also what he's showing here in his pitch, why Bitcoin, right? So we see the ETF inflow since the launch, which was compared to the gold inflows, but then we also see the scarcity, like the annual Bitcoin versus gold production, and we see the halving kicking in here, and the actually the halving I think was, yeah, it was there, together with the ETF launch, right? And we see there are going to be the subsequent halvings, right? And Bitcoin production is just coiling up here, right? Gold production is coiling up here, where Bitcoin production is going to be lowered all the time, right? Showing true scarcity. So gold production can be increased to meet demand, whereas the production schedule for new Bitcoin is fixed. This is absolutely crazy. And if you think, okay, you have 22 trillion parked in gold, where gold is mineable, you can find new mines, you can technically find deep space asteroid mining, you can make gold, as CERN recently has found out, in the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland at CERN, they were able to transform lead into gold. So basically doing the alchemist's dream, right? This is something just to consider. There are people running around with like interesting theories or prepper mentality that still say, hey, they buying the 1 gram gold plates because you wouldn't need it in an apocalypse to trade or something like that. And then you say, yeah, but you could just do Bitcoin peer-to-peer if there's a war or something like that, and buy your stuff with that. And the usual counter argument is, yeah, but if there's no electricity, then there's no Bitcoin. And that is somewhat true, but also if there's no electricity at all, and the war has degraded that to that point, I'm not sure that that any of it will help, like either gold or Bitcoin, right? Or if then the currency isn't food, right? Exchange food for food, right? Different food sources for food, things to light a fire and so on. I'm not sure if gold plates are then also usable in that circumstance, but who knows, right? Maybe it is so. Maybe some other things will, like pharmacy or whatever, would be then the right thing. But enough speculation about the apocalypse. Fact is, gold has taken a breather. And we are going to overlay Bitcoin once more because we did that before. We are in the daily. That is not the right chart. There we go. So once more, Bitcoin versus gold. Okay. So this is more or less our correlation, and we should go a little bit higher on this, and we see now let's see what is going to happen with gold. But if we form a top like here, right? So we see the long wicks there, selling pressure coming in for gold. If we find this top here, we see that after that, Bitcoin went completely nuts. And basically that is, we have the global M2 inflow into risk off, right? There will be soon a phase coming in that is risk on, right? By the way, I did not. I thought I did not have the chat overlay, but I did. You guys just not somehow loaded into my chat overlay. I don't know why. But yeah. So we have money M2 flows into risk off. But then you see here, at some point when risk off phase is done, money flows into risk on, right? But if you look into the crypto space, Bitcoin is then the next best thing, risk off within the crypto space, right? And then it's the alts. Let's check quickly out. We are a little bit hesitant here. We see that yesterday we had a little bit of an inflow, then right the outflow again. That's exactly where we have our turnaround in BTC. So we are basically looking at this level of support here at the moment to be broken for the next move out of Bitcoin, right? This is USDT dominance, tether dominance, and we are looking for this to break, right? Also, then you would have something like a small, like a version like this of Head and Shoulders, right? Be it as it may, but we are going to lose the support very, very, very soon, probably, right? And then the way is open down to this support level again, with an increased money supply down, like allocating almost 1% of the entire Tether stack, and USDC dominance very likely looks the same, right? By the way, guys, if you enjoy these daily updates here on Crypto Morning Coffee, then smash up the like button, please. Smashing the like button is one of the things that helps me the most here with building this channel, building this community. Also, if you want, subscribe to the channel. If you found value, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so that you never miss out on Crypto Morning Coffee live streams or drop streams when we do it from time to time. Now that there was Star Wars on VV, we did quite a few drop streams. We are trying to go for what we like. And anyways, hey Energy, good to see you as well, bringing the good vibes to the channel. That is our Bitcoin chart. So Bitcoin dominance, we did, and this is exactly what I was afraid of, right? This is exactly what I was afraid of, that we're just repeating what we had here in larger on BTC dominance, but that the moment that BTC does something, the liquidity flows out of altcoins and gets traded back into Bitcoin, right? So we are not certain here that we are going to have our altcoin season just yet. As we see here, we did a little blip, the altcoins went nuts, but now the altcoins are getting wrecked again against Bitcoin, where Bitcoin is working at this all-time high. And we don't know when this turnaround will be. We don't know, but what I know is that it is going to come, and that right now probably is the best time to get into position if you believe that this is going to happen, right? Because this is where the life-changing altcoin gains are made, or wife-changing even, where you go into whatever coin and it goes 20, 50x, right? However, big fat disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is what I'm doing with a smaller part of my portfolio, getting into position, getting into the coins that are absolutely wrecked, hoping that this season will initiate at some point. And the reason why I am playing on this and hoping on this and putting a bet on this is because everyone else in this market seems to be of the opinion that it's not going to happen, right? But when, we don't know, right? We could go as high as 70%, altcoins completely wrecked in the gutter. People will lose a lot of money in the meme coins because not every meme coin will survive. And ignore completely the coins that are maybe good to go, right? So we see it here. I mean, daily discount of 3 to 5% on all altcoins, on some even more, right? We have, even on the weekly, right, we have VeChain down 14%, Sandbox 15%, Bonk 20%, right, but Bonk had pumped for Jasmine 13%, Gala 16%, Aptos 70% discount, Arbitrum 20% discount, Ton 12% discount, Render 20% discount. So all of these coins that people were eager to buy last week before the big breakout and yada yada, right? Link 13% almost, and so on. These coins are all on discount. Floki 20% and so on, right? Meaning, if they would just go back to where they were before, it's a nice. They need, like, Floki needs a 40%er to go back. Fartcoin even minus 20%. Say minus 20%. So this is where I would say at some point they will come back against Bitcoin. But is it now or in 2 months? We don't know. Bullish signals, yes. Absolutely. Green Lantern says GM boys driving, liked and paying attention. So let's just and this is something that I wanted to show you as well. Like ETH also reacted to Bitcoin here, and ETH, we saw it last time when ETH pumped back. The altcoins were also going really nicely. So even though that Solana is the new big thing, unfortunately we got rejected here, but that doesn't mean anything. We could come back above this. Let's see. But the altcoin market is looking to ETH still, because ETH last altcoin season was front running and was the first to move and give the signals. We might consolidate here a little bit for ETH, right? Getting ETH on the weekly, we see we bounced here nicely. I kept this kind of as a midline because it has a lot of valid points. I mean, you see here the confluence, bounce, 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 lost support and now rejected right here on this trend line. However, what's also valid is this whole thing, right? Resist and resist, resist. Support, bounce, right? So the logical thing would be to come back here, test this, and hopefully break, right? So we basically have this kind of a trajectory and then breakout. That would be the dream for ETH. Yeah? However, and this is something we need to keep in mind looking at the altcoins here, is ETH, BTC. You can put this into your trading view. Just go instead of ETH USDT or USDC, you go in ETH BTC and you go whatever chart, right? This still, I mean, here we see this is the first reaction in a long time where ETH started to outperform BTC. We will see how this basically performs in the next couple of days and weeks to come. This is the weekly chart. We see that basically since our last alt season, which basically started here in March 21 or so, like where ETH outperformed Bitcoin for quite some months, couple of months. we got, since here in November then 21, when it was all over, we just got wrecked against ETH. Basically, it would have been the best trade ever to just go out of all altcoins and ETH and so on here, go into Bitcoin and stay there, right? Until now, question mark. Will we have something like this again, right? So we would then see ETH outperform BTC, and that's exactly what the definition is of the second phase of the money flow, right? BTC overlap phase, ETH goes back and forth with BTC. That would be this here, right? Goes back and forth with BTC, and then ETH starts outperforming BTC. That's an alt season. So will we see a back and forth with BTC and then outperformance against the BTC pair? If you want to allocate, so in the end, the ultimate goal, if you somehow, if you believe that crypto is outperforming fiat, or basically say fiat goes to zero and BTC is heavily outperforming, which it is since 15 years, right? If you believe that, you have to take your coin and put it against BTC. So for example, ADA, if you like believe in Cardano, you have to put it against BTC. Then you see this clearly down, right? But question mark, because also here, will there be a macro higher low and maybe higher highs for ADA, right? Question mark. That is that. Also, that BTC, like VeChain, for example, right? You don't know where the bottom is, but it's basically the same for this altcoin as well. We don't see this turnaround yet on VET, for example. Another one. What is another one? AVAX against BTC, right? You can do that with every altcoin, and you will see most likely that all altcoins, they go like down against BTC. We have Solana, maybe not, right? Solana, maybe not. Yeah, Solana not. Solana against BTC is more. It did outperform, and it's like big fat resistance here. So the moment that, and this is something that I would look out for a Solana position even, if this comes to a break. Because then short term, it might be good to be in Solana, outperform BTC, move back into BTC, right? This is how many people are trading against this. Everything that is playing a role on YouTube is against USDT, right? But for example, if you look at the past bull market and you can't unfortunately do BTC against BTC, right? In terms of BTC against US dollar, inflation adjusted, right? You can't, because if you would, or I don't know how to, let's put it that way, probably you can. But if you would see that from this top to this top, it took a year, right? A year of 8% inflation, you would technically not even have a higher high here. Inflation adjusted, right? So that all, these all are things. So now we had the same discussion here. It's like, oh, this was slightly higher. This is the top. People called the top here. This is a triple top, they called, right? A big genius brain called the top there, hoping that they will be right. They felt very confident in this candle. But if you would just look at this inflation adjusted at this point, and we said that actually on this channel that we don't believe that this is happening, that we are inflation adjusted way lower than this, because we had so many years of inflation between that we have an inflated US dollar to calculate against, and so on, right? So the altcoins also calculate the altcoins from here to their inflated US dollar. They are way down in their bear market still, right? You can look at for example, at the VeChain or whatever USDT, right? that USDT. If you calculate that you have this price close to the lows, we're still up from the absolute wick in the bottom, bear market bottom, still 103%, but still it's very low. And if you discount from here that we are down by an 8 to 10% hidden inflation every year, you're basically at the bottom, bear market bottom still. You really need to have this outperform quite a bit, right? So these USDT pumps against, again, look at that against BTC, they mean nothing because you're going lower, right? You have the pump. This is the pump to 8%, short-lived, and there are several of those, right? Against BTC, short-term outperformance and back down, right? New low. So we will see when there will be a turnaround at some point. And here it was the same, like last market. VET lost against BTC, but at some point it formed a macro reversal, right? Here. And we just have to look out for when that happens for alts, right? When that happened collectively for alts. And maybe, let me see, can we do that? Others, BTC. No, that's not possible, unfortunately. But the dominance, others dominance basically gives us a clue against BTC, and others dominance is still wrecked. We are still waiting for a fake out or something signal, right? I mean, we didn't also do the real bearish retest here on a weekly or so, or on a monthly. Actually, on the monthly, let me see. Yeah, on the monthly we did fall out 3 months out of this dominance rising channel. We are going to form some kind of a bigger pattern here that could help us, but so far we did lose this macro pattern here. 808 Bear says, hello gentle hodlers. Hey, good to see you, man. We have a little bit more time here now to look at one thing. Let's look at the total 2 with Ethereum for the altcoins, right? Altcoins are now getting into the interest as they are sometimes moving and sometimes not, right? We are here on the monthly for the others, and we are basically in an, let's put it this way here, in an uptrend from here to here, right? We do have 3 bounces as well. The total 3 looks way better when you take out Ethereum, because Ethereum has been weak, but this could change, right? We still did not close here, up here, for another retest, right, at the 1.6 trillion. I think it will happen. 808 basis, I want under 100k. I like to buy 1000 sats per dollar. Yes, I agree with you. And there is a chance that this might happen. Let me show you. BTC, if you put in BTC1, you get to the Bitcoin futures. And if we go on the daily chart, we see, so this is my opinion, but there is this not, but there is an open CME gap at 92,000, okay? So we should, if history repeats itself, at some point come back to 92,000 and close the CME gap. Will that happen before we put in a new all-time high, or will that happen in the next bear market, right? If we were to rally from here, I'd say, okay, then we can just stop buying, lean back, and at some point, and it will come back to 92,000, right? No guarantees. CME gap stuff is 90+% closing, so it's very accurate, but not all CME gaps close, right? Not all of them close, but we see that they close many times, right? So usually we come back to close the CME gap. CME always gets filled. I have a few K to buy, exactly. So the theory is that we really come back to the 92,000 and close this gap. I don't know why this gap is still open, because I did see on the spot that the price went down here. On CME it did not somehow, right? So it's a little bit weird to me, this specific very tiny CME gap. Here it was very interesting. We did come back, closed it almost, and then we thought, okay, maybe that counts as closed. No, we came back and filled it all together, right? So that was a really good lesson there. Let's see, I'm still confident that this will close. Yeah, so CME tells us we might get close. So we have a little time here to talk about OMI as well. OMI with a horrible downtrend still, on the macro especially. We do see some kind of a bottom maybe here unfolding. None of the news so far has helped here. We see right now a little bit more sideways than actually downwards. So could this be a bottom? Well, we thought so. Up here as well, right? Here. Where is the big fat bottom phase? There. We thought that this is a macro bottom, right? This, all of this, and then we just lost support again. 808 basis, I did not know what CME was. I kept on hearing about it, and if I knew what it was, I would have bought more sats for cheaper. Yeah, exactly. I think CME can help to get the direction. The only thing that I like about this bottom versus this bottoming phase is that here we have way more volume, okay, and that we have our let's say our facts here, that there's way more implemented here than it was before, right? So we basically have OMI to NFT and burns. We have actually the fastest speed in app. I would say that can be erased in web, like mobile app works okay-ish, but like they have solve app issues, right after every drop, they have massive app issues. Still need to be solved, right? For getting people in. If you want to get people excited about both the collectibles and the token, that needs to be solved, right? Yeah. So this, you see, the volume is ramping up like hell. The price moves sideways. This could be interesting to observe, right? For VV. Yesterday they dropped the first view on the inner of the helmet, which I don't know how many sold out. We will check in a second on the Living Aloha stats. But this looks really good, right? We also went for some Stormtrooper helmet. Maybe these are good in the market. Officially licensed Star Wars Disney. The level of detail is impressive. This post by Comics and Crypto, really cool. Let's check out on this, because I did stream the drop day where it was supposed to be, but this part was cancelled then due to the app performance, right? So here we see it. VV Star Wars Trooper helmets sell 32%. No, that was the drop before. I think. $30,000 grossed. Couple of hours after always these stats. What really flopped completely was the Blackpink concert finale drop. I think that Vivo was never capable of grabbing that specific community, as this community doesn't seem to be in digital collecting at all. So they only sell 130 collectibles out of 116,000 or so. This is crazy. Yeah, only 130 sold, $2,000 gross revenue. Okay, that's nuts. This is getting burned in 3 days, so this could be an extremely scarce collectible. But if no one wants it, also, then it doesn't really matter, right? Let's check out the VV numbers here. So the trend in general is upwards. And we see that stuff is getting minted, like the Trooper helmet. Also, the one or the other is minting a Blackpink collectible here. And we see also, like, for example, this guy, he did mint a Mandalorian rare and then mint the frame to it. Let's put it a little bit more like this so you can see what if it's a mint or a transfer. Here also we see a lot of transfers. So everyone's going Mandalorian, here and there something else, right? Transfers on the market are there. People are going still for the burn drop. So here we see a lot of mints and transfers for the Stormtrooper helmet, the cross-section one. Some other Blackpinks. So their revenue is definitely higher on the helmets. The secret rare helmets, I don't know if they're all already sold out, but they were a nice $2,500 per helmet, which is good, right, for VV, because then they would do $10,000 across those helmets. They did more than 30K on the regular helmets. Then they have revenue on the cross-section helmets. So their revenue should be okay this month with the nice, really beautiful Star Wars drops, right? Also, Grogu is being bought still, which I think, again, is a grail, right? Let's see, Mewtwo says, I would like to see the stacker listings on the mobile app ranked in accordance with the dollar value so that it's more clear whether a stacker listing or a VV app listing is cheaper. Exactly my wish as well. I think we really need that. So a lot is being minted here also, like the comics. That is good, right? I mean, in the last half hour or so, there's a lot being minted. Also, someone's minting Blackpink stuff here. You see all these mints. The machinery is rolling still. And this is not reflected in usual stats, because those drop stats, they always grab what the the view for one specific drop a couple of hours after. But we see like that here we have a lot of mints going on that are unrelated to the direct drop time. Hey Chris Thomas, good to see you. Nice morning to hang out and chat a little bit about the markets and also Vivi, right? Then we had this, right, for from Vivi. Pop Culture Anniversary Gaming. Minecraft is a 2011 sandbox game developed and published by Swedish video game developer Mojang Studios, originally created by Marcus Notch. Person using the Java programming language. The first public alpha build was released on 17 May 2009. 16 years ago today. Have you played this iconic game? Share favorite moments. Okay, so and then someone asked also here, is there anything to it? I don't know where this is, but they said, yeah, here. So this, here someone asked, so is this a partnership or just a nod? And then Vivi says, this post is a nod and recognition of a historic moment in pop culture and gaming history. So we should not go full out speculation here on, hey, will Vivi drop these things as collectibles? But it's also not impossible, right? So yeah, we will see. But Vivi has a history of teasing stuff that is not coming, at least right now. We saw also in their early pitch deck some licenses that we've never seen after. But on the other hand, also we saw some things that were teased many days, weeks, years before, and that actually came to the app, right? So yeah, all of that is possible. But anyways, guys, for today, that's it. Make sure to smash up the like button here for the stream, for the morning stream. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, notifications on. I will keep you posted on everything, the macro game, on Bitcoin as well as the altcoins, how altcoins are doing, and then of course always on Ecomi and Vivi. Make sure to stay tuned also for Tuesday. I will try to make it for the Pod Racer drop, as the Star Wars drop are the most exciting, for another drop stream. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think and what you want to get more info and videos about. Let me know that in the comments here. And guys, let's see also quickly the rest of the chat here. Have a great start to the weekend, fam. Yes, absolutely. Mark D says, it would make 0 sense to post about the greatness of Minecraft without having a partnership in place. I absolutely agree, but we know that from time to time we see something out of Vivi which doesn't come right away. At least we will see. In any case, maybe that is also an announcement for Lisbon conference, which is coming up shortly. Now, anyways, guys, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I catch you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one and bye.